What's up, guys? Are you ready to automate your festival schedule? Let's do it. What's happening, guys? This is Arvel from Pixel Party, and I'd like to introduce you to Who's Up. This tool hopefully will save you a little bit of time and stress at large festivals and will let the stage manager be in charge of putting all of the logos and swapping content for said artist when they go on. I don't know if you're like me, but there's times where you've had a set schedule for artists to go on and they're always late or they go over their set time and you're really not sure who's up at what time because some of these transitions can take longer than expected. This tool will help you give that power to the stage manager where they can either manually trigger who's going on or you can just let it follow the set schedule and hopefully they're on time. So let's dive in and set up a few examples. Up here we have our clock, which is driven off of your system clock. If you come over here and adjust the time and date, let's go to 3. Notice that it jumps there as well. So if you are jumping between time zones, be sure to set that your system clock is set properly for said time zone you're in. Right here we have the day of the week, which today is Wednesday, but if I want to go ahead and set up the entire schedule for 3 or 4 days, I can hit auto and put that back to manual mode, and I can go between the different days of the weeks. Up at the top we have artist 1, and this goes all the way down to 25. If you have more than 25 artists per day, the chances are the artists at the bottom of the list probably have like a 15 to 30 minute time slot around noon. Not to say that they aren't important, but they're not as important as your headliner. So let's change this to headliner. Artist 2 will be direct support. 3 is artist we all love. Artist 4 is that one guy. Artist 5 is what time is it? And 6 is this guy still on? Cool. We'll need to turn on all of the artists that we are going to use. If these are turned off, they will be hidden on the next screen. Next, we need to set up the time that they are going to be playing. So right now we're working out of hour 14, so let's set this to 14. End time will be 14. Bear with me as I go through all of this. We will skip this for a later part. Just for now, I'll try to get the meat and potatoes of this all set up for you first. We'll start this at 30. Alright, so start time will be 30, and he's going to play up until 31. Start time will be 31, 32, 32, 33, 33, 34, 35, or 34, 35, 35, 36. All right. If we go down to our settings, we have our OSC output address. This is very important because on festivals there's going to be multiple front of house VJs. Several could be using OSC if they are on your network. Find out what your house VJ's IP address is. Put that in right here. That way you're not changing content on other people's computers. Or just have it on a separate network from said VJs. OSC output port. We have our OSC output artist name text block address, And then we also have a video width and height output. If we click the little help button down here, all my stuff has help menus built in, so if you click labels, it'll tell you what exactly those things do. What we're going to be testing on this one is the string output of these names right here. So if we go into Arena, I have a string block or text block, layer 1, column 1. I'm going to go to clip view, and then I'm going to go to shortcuts, OSC, and helps if I select the right clip. I'm going to click on our text block, which currently says Resolume. Cannot use both of these addresses. Pick or choose which one you want. I'm using the top. Come back into Who's Up. I'm going to delete whatever was in there currently and paste this back in. There we go. So now what we have is whenever this hits 1431, it is going to change the text string inside of Resolume to whatever these labels are. The only time this app is going to output and work is when you are in perform mode. So let's go ahead and enter perform mode. Here we are. So we have the set times of the artists and the artist names right here. If it's set to auto, it's going to follow that time. If it's set to manual, you can pick and choose. This is where having a touch screen computer comes in handy. You can leave it on manual and just have the stage manager touch or click whenever that artist goes on. And if we go back into Resolume, here we have Artists We All Love, Artists We All Love, Direct Support, Headliner, that one guy. Is this guy still on? If we go back to manual, or back to auto, you can see right now that we are on this guy that is still on because his time is from 1430 to 1431, and the time right here is 1430:16. Let's say this guy ends a little sooner than he's supposed to, and what time is it just came on? Put it in manual mode, click on him, what time is it? Boom, he's on playing. You're good to go. And at that point, if you want, you can go ahead and click auto once his time slot comes back on. Honestly, it's probably more work than your stage manager is going to do. You could just leave this thing on manual and tell him, hey, don't screw up. Make sure you click the guy's name when he goes on. And at this point, I'm going to put it back on auto because we're about to get a change from 1431, and it should automatically shift right up to what time is it? There it is. Bam, automated. Cool, so that's a lot of fun. It's also set up when the day rolls over, it will switch to the next day for you automatically, especially when you have headliners that could start at 11:30 or 11 and roll into the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock a.m. hours. Fun. Down here, perform mode, we're going to exit that, go back into our edit mode. What I would recommend at that point is you have the headliner set up here, which, to be fair, headliner always has their own guy, most always, so you're never going to really have to do this. But let's say your headliner can't make it and he just wants a name or a logo up. Cool. You would have this guy end at 24:00. Headliner. There it is. Hit auto, you would go to Thursday, because we're on Wednesday, so you go to Thursday, and you go all the way to the bottom here, turn this guy on, and then his start hour is 00, and let's say he plays till 2 in the morning. Headliner, bam. That will automate, so when it changes to Thursday, he's the first guy up at, starting at, what would it be, midnight or what is it, 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight in the morning, whatever it is. It starts there and rolls until 2, and then from that point, if these guys aren't used and the next guy starts at, say, at noon, it'll just turn off. Or the show will be over at that point, and your operator will turn off your equipment. Going back here, let's take this a step further now. Let's say we have a deck. Right here we have solid color. Let's say we have a deck. We'll name this direct support. Cool. Let's grab a couple of these clips here. Bam, there's the stuff that he sent over for his visuals. Alright, cool. We can now go and change our shortcuts. Edit OSC, we'll click on his deck, and we'll come back into the Who's Up app, and under direct support for OSC address, we will enter in his deck. We'll go back into manual mode, hit perform. So right now, that one guy is on. Then the guy's after him, and then direct support's about to come up, and as soon as we hit that, boom, it jumps right to his deck, and at that point you can play your video clip for him in that deck. Isn't that fun? And to take it even a step further, if you go to your sources tab at the bottom, we have a Who's Up NDI and Spout Siphon. Say the headliner goes on and he just wants to play a single image. You can browse for an image. We'll go to desktop and we'll do this guy. If it says already exists, do you wish to replace it? I don't know why this prompt comes up, to be 100% honest with you. Just hit yes. It's not going to modify the file in any way, shape, or form. But there we go. If we turn on our clip here, there's nothing going on. If we enter the perform mode and click headliner, boom, there's the file we just loaded up, and NDI shows the same thing. From here you can see what your picture is going to look like. You can resize it, maybe 800. As you can see, it resizes it there as well. So if you know you're outputting 1080p for that show, set your output resolution to be 1920 by 1080. There we have it. And then when you go off that artist to direct support, it no longer shows that file. And I think that covers it. When you hit reset, it's going to reset everything. All days, all artists. There you go. And as you notice, we only have one artist turned on. If you hit perform, there's only one artist. If you turn on two artists, you have two artists. Yeah, I believe that's it. This definitely helps me out in situations where I'm doing 1,000 things on my stage and I don't have time to see who's on at what time. The schedules may have changed. This is really handy if you are in a good working relationship with your stage manager, which I typically always am. They usually don't mind having a computer up there and just clicking on a name. It takes them an extra 10 seconds on top of their already busy schedule, but it ensures the show looks great and you don't have the wrong artist's name up while he's playing. Or maybe that's just me because I'm a crappy DJ. Hope this helps you out. Any questions, as always, feel free to hit me up. Thanks, guys.